Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily and I am so glad you are here with me today. Today is the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge, which means that each DIY that I create today will cost less than $5 to make. There will be a playlist that goes along with today's video, but I will explain more about that later. As always, if you like what you see here, I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you would like some more awesome DIYs coming your way. But let's get started. I think you're gonna really like how this DIY turns out. I have this cute little house that I got at Hobby Lobby, but I've seen them at Dollar Tree. And then I've also got this little ironing board that I got at Dollar Tree also. So what I'm going to do is make a mark on the top of this ironing board. You'll have to see if you can guess what I'm going to make out of this. And I'm just going to cut this off. So you can use an X-Acto knife, a box cutter, and do it that way. I just happen to have my saw right there, so that's what I used. And I am going to round out the edges on the bottom so they're not quite so square. And I'm just making sure that this kind of fits the size with my house of how I want. So however big you want to make this, you'll do it according to your measurements. So I tape off a couple of stripes because I'm making a candy corn out of the ironing board. And of course the top is going to be white, the middle will be orange, and the bottom will be yellow. So I'm just using Waverly's chalk paint in the pumpkin, and I believe maize is the color of the yellow. So you can use whatever kind of acrylic paint or chalk paint you would like. The yellow on this is not very bright and the orange is a little bit more muted than a traditional candy corn, but it does match the decor that I've made this year, so I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to remove my tape here and see how my lines came out. I think I did a pretty good job on getting those crisp, clear lines right there. So now I want to make some beads that are candy corn color. So I just take some wooden beads and I do 6 beads total, 2 of each color of the white, the orange, and the yellow. Now, however you want to handle this next part is completely optional, but I'm going to be using some scrapbook paper because I have a little bit of a hole in the middle of my house there. I got this on a very good sale at Hobby Lobby because of that, but I don't have a piece of paper big enough, so I'm just using a couple of pieces and just matching up the seam there where the plaid is. My candy corn will cover the majority of this, so it's not super crucial to be so exact, but I do want the plaid to line up for the rest of the house. So now I'm just taking some scissors and cutting off the excess, and then I will just use my nail file, whatever you use, a sanding block, finger sander. You'll use that around the edge to make that a crisp, clean edge. And now I'm just taking some twine. I wrap it around like 3 times, and I'll just tie that off right here. And then I am going to thread on my beads in candy corn order. So I do the white on top, and then I do the orange and then the yellow, and I kind of offset these so my next strand of beads will be hanging just a little bit lower than the first strand, but I'll let you watch how I do that and how that looks. I take a little bit of twine and wrap it around my hand and then tie it off in the middle to make a cute little twine bow here to put at the top of my little hanging bead strands. And of course, you know me, I have to just dress something, if not everything, in my video. So I do sand the candy corn to kind of soften the edges, give it a little bit of a rustic look. I go around all of the edges, and then I also go in the middle there and kind of go over the yellow, the orange, and the white just to give it a really rustic look. I want to make sure that I match up the bottom of the candy corn with the house so it will stand really well. So once I get my position figured out and where I want that candy corn to do, I just kind of lift it up and glue underneath. I noticed I had a little bit of painter's tape on the back there. I do end up removing that, so just be aware of that. Now, I have these little Halloween figures that I have had for years. Some of these, like my mom gave me, that were from my childhood even. So I'm just kind of playing around because I really like the way each of these look. Here's what it looks like plain. And then I've got my cute little witch I could set in front of it, my little pumpkin. So whatever you have that you want to add, if you want to add a little more detail, you can. I personally like the look of the black cat there, so that's what I am displaying in front of mine. Which would you use on yours? This project can be completed with complete Dollar Tree items. So I have this little wood round that I got from the crafter square section, and then a wooden sign. And I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want my sign to end because I'm going to place that wood round on the top of it. And then I knew I wanted my next portion of the wood block to be just a teeny bit longer. So you can just kind of eyeball it. That's literally what I did. I didn't do any specific measurements. And then I just cut the 2 cuts on this. So I'm left with 3 pieces of this wood block sign, and I'll use 2 of them for this project, and I use 1 more for another project. And then guys, look at what this is. It's a Jenga block, like one of the tumbling tower blocks that I found at Dollar Tree finally. If you're new to my channel, I have been looking for these in my Dollar Tree for over a year and haven't seen them. So I finally got some. I paint one of the pieces of the block white, one of them black, and then I also paint my little tumbling tower black as well. So I'm cutting off the little twine piece of this little wood round, and I use some plaster to fill in that little hole. However, I did not necessarily need to do that, and you'll see why in just a moment here. But the block, or the wood round rather, is going to be painted orange, and I do decide to go around the trim, the edge, and paint that with black. With my cutting machine, I did cut this cute little witch out, and with her little broom, I can place that right over that little hole where I used the plaster, so you can see why I didn't need to necessarily do that. And so I put her on the round, and then for my blocks, I cut out the words Hocus Pocus, and I alternated the colors depending on what color block they were going to be on. And so I just go ahead and adhere those to each of my blocks. If you know anything about me, you know that I cannot freehand anything. So I am totally embracing the cutting machine or rub-on transfers, things like that, water slide decal paper, anything to help me not have to freehand anything. So I just used some E6000 and some hot glue to affix those together. And then what I will do is I'm taking my tumbling tower block, as you can see here, and I'm going to put that onto my round first, and then glue the tumbling tower block with the round already on it onto the base of the other blocks there. And then I do take a Q-tip to go in and just kind of touch up the black paint around that edge where some of the orange was peeking through. To me, this completely screams Halloween. Not only is it one of my most favorite movies, I just love the colors of this, and I think it is so fun. It looks like a cute little snow globe sitting on the top of this. I absolutely love this one. I am so excited that you are here for the Halloween Decor 5 Under 5 DIY Challenge. I host this with Missy from the Crafty Cove, and this month our guest host is Michelle with Moxie DIY and Java, and Michelle is amazing, guys. Down in my description box will be a link to the playlist so you can get all of your Halloween decor inspiration, and there will also be a link to Michelle's channel, so go say hi to her and show her some support as well. This DIY ends up being so cute in the end. I absolutely love it, and you can create it with all items from Dollar Tree. I am taking this little shadow box and I am removing the 3-dimensional portion of it. Then I'm going to take some black paint and just completely paint the frame. You of course can leave the frame or paint it, do whatever colors you would like, but I'm going to be placing some scrapbook paper over the back portion of this shadow box, so I don't need to tape anything off. I can just go ahead and paint all around like such. And then I take this little pumpkin here. Now this came from Hobby Lobby, but they did have tons of different little wooden pumpkins at Dollar Tree. So I paint my pumpkin orange, and I'm going to paint this little block, which was a leftover piece from another DIY I did from a block from Dollar Tree. I'm just cutting down some scrapbook paper to size. I thought this little black and white buffalo check would be so cute for a contrast. And then I'm just using some purple school glue stick, which if you've been here for a minute, you know I absolutely love this stuff. And guys, I recently found my Cricut scraper, so I'm just using that to get all of the bubbles and things out. I'm just going to touch up my pumpkin, give it a little green stem there, and then I used my Cricut to cut out a jack-o'-lantern face. You could easily use a Sharpie to do this, but of course I don't freehand anything because I just do not have a talent for it. So I also cut out Happy Halloween, and I'm just going to take each of these and I'm going to glue them into the shadow box. And so this first block here that I'm gluing down, I don't need to raise it up any because it is, and whoops, I almost glued it upside down, but it is very thick and so it pops out well. but the little jack-o'-lantern is so thin, I'm just using a little teeny wooden block, and I use that to raise it up to give it that three-dimensional look. I think the colors of this turned out so cute, and I love that buffalo check paper in there. I feel like this is such a nice little addition for Halloween. It's not screaming like scary or gory or anything. It's just cute and sweet and totally my style. What do you guys think of this one? This is such a fun little hack. So I got this Gather little beaded garland sign at Hobby Lobby. It's from their spring section. You can see it says $7.99. So I bought it on clearance, but typically their seasonal items you can get like at 40% off bare minimum. So I flip this over, and I'm going to have a Halloween saying on this side of it. So then when I'm done, I can flip it over and have it say Gather for Thanksgiving. The paint was chipped on the back of this when I opened it up, so rather than repainting the whole thing and messing with the beads and the twine, I decided to just embrace that and make it look intentional. So that's why I am distressing this. I had not planned on doing that. So just keep that in mind if when you try this hack, if yours looks fine and you don't want to distress it, by all means don't. Now you can choose whatever saying you want to say on this. You can use rub-on transfers, you can use stickers, whatever you would like. I cut these out on my Cricut. It just says boo with the exclamation point and the two little black cats. I just love those. And then you can see I can flip it over and have the other side say Gather. I just love this hack. I think it turned out so cute, and I'm excited to use this one this year. Don't forget that I'm on Instagram also. I love to meet new Insta friends, so I would love for you to come over and say hi, check out my page, and see all the latest projects that I'm working on. I'll be sure and leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. This is a perfect project if you don't want to necessarily do obvious Halloween in your house, but maybe want to just incorporate Halloween colors. So I got this little firework pillar at my local thrift store, and I'm just taking out, you can see that rope just popped right out of there, had some little wire in the rope there, and then I'm just going to clean this up by wiping it down really good. We're just going to give this a paint job and add a couple little details to it to make it feel a little bit more Halloweenish. After I give this a thorough couple of coats of white or plaster chalk paint, I believe it is, I tape off some stripes, and then I just take this out to my little spray paint studio, which, as we all know, is just a box that our bathroom sink came in, but it works perfect to spray paint things in to stop the spread of that spray paint going everywhere. But I just spray paint it black, and it really only took one coat of the black spray paint to get really good coverage. And I had these two little square wooden I don't know, wooden squares, I guess you'd just say they were, that I got at Dollar Tree. They come in like a pack of 6. So I spray paint those because I am going to put those on either end. So here comes the satisfying part of me tearing off my paint to reveal my crisp, clear, what we hope are crisp and clear lines from the black and white stripes. After I reveal my lines, I decide that this is such a very rustic pillar. Like, this piece of wood has a lot of little blemishes and knots and things in it. So I decide to embrace that, and I distress it. That, of course, is a completely optional thing, but it does match my decor, so that's why I did this. And then I do, since I distressed the pillar, I go in and distress each of these little wood squares for the top and the bottom of the pillar. Using some E6000 and hot glue, I then go in and glue the top and the bottom on. So what you'll see I do here is I have my pillar standing up like this. I place my square on and then turn it upside down to kind of measure it and make sure that I get it centered really well. And I do that when I glue both ends on. Here's what this pillar looks like with a cute little pumpkin on the top of it. You can see how this definitely is not obvious Halloween, but using the correct colors and everything, it definitely brings that Halloween vibe into your decorating. I am so happy that you joined me today to watch these wonderful 5 DIYs that each cost less than $5. I hope you guys all have a very happy Halloween and happy Halloween decorating as well. Remember to click the link in the playlist below and check out all of the other fun Halloween inspiration DIYs that are all part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, remember to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy, and choose to have a good day because you are amazing. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day.